Welcome back, everyone, to the Tech Talk episode 9. For those new to the channel, my name's Rob. I'm the lead technical officer at the technical department at Gas Safe Register. I'm joined by my colleague, Stevie. Stevie's a technical officer at the technical department as well. So welcome back. Thanks to everyone for listening to the previous episodes. We do appreciate the comments. We do appreciate the feedback. Looks like we're deep into the winter season now. It's very cold where I am. Stevie, is it cold where you are?
Not too bad today.
No, well, I've got my fleece on today because I am quite cold. Yeah. That's what happens when you move to Wales from down south. So we've been getting quite busy at the technical lines, getting a lot of calls where engineers are starting to get busier, especially with people putting the heating on. So we wanted to go through some frequently asked questions we've been getting at the technical helpline this month. So we've been getting a lot of inquiries about landlords, cooking appliances, qualifications. So we just wanted to touch on a few that we thought had been most frequent through this month. So I'll start with the first frequently asked question of this month. So we get asked a lot whether a landlord's gas safety record has to have a due date section. So a lot of the templates that engineers used, electronic ones or manual ones, do have a due date field in them. So it's not listed as a mandatory requirement to have on a landlord gas safety record. And those mandatory requirements come from Regulation 36 of the Gas Safety Installations and Use Regs. But like we've said, most modern templates and forms will have this section to complete. And an engineer can complete the due date. You know, it's just with the MOT style flexibility, an engineer just needs to be aware that when they're completing that section, they may automatically want to complete that section that it's 12 months from the date that they've done the landlord's gas safety check. Whereas if the landlord is using that MOT flexibility, there may be a different due date in there. It's just important that there's good communication between the engineer and the landlord or letting agent to ensure what the actual due date is. If they are using the MOT style flexibility, it might be an idea to just have a look at the records so you're aware that you're putting in the correct due date. But like we said, it's not a mandatory requirement. Some forms out there don't have the due date section, the due date box to fill in. So it's not a mandatory requirement as such. Right, over to you, Stevie.
Okay, yeah. So another very common question we get is there any clearance or measurements for a domestic hob or a cooker to an openable window? And the answer to that is from British Standard 6172. There's no specific distance or measurement given in the document. However, the commentary notes state that the cooking appliance should be conveniently positioned in relation to other facilities, such as the sink, working spaces, and taking into account the user. So siting adjacent to doors and open windows should be avoided owing to the effects of drafts. Manufacturer's instructions for the appliance should always be consulted and also take into account things like blinds, curtains, windowsills, combustible windowsills. But normal rule of thumb is that siting close to an openable door or window should be avoided.
Yeah, I do get that question quite a lot. Like you say, sometimes there's no specific yes or no in the standard. It recommends it's not preferable. But yeah, like you say, it's something to take into account for engineers.
Some risk assessment as well. And I think as well, most new appliances have got flame safety devices. So that may be part of your risk assessment. Could the drafts or affect the flames or extinguish the flames? But that would also all have to be taken into your risk assessment.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. So the last frequently asked question we get, or the last one that we picked, we get a lot of frequently asked questions, is an engineer whether they can disconnect or cap an appliance if they don't have the specific ACS for that appliance. So for an example, we get a lot of the time is an engineer has not got gas fires, but they from a visual risk assessment, they notice something unsafe about the appliance and say, for example, they see signs of spillage and they think that they want to deem it as immediately dangerous until someone checks it, can they cap that appliance off even though they don't have gasifiers? And the answer is yes, you can. You can, as part of your core CCM1 domestic ACS category, that covers pipe work and tightness testing, so it does allow you to cap that fire off and make it safe, leave a warning notice, etc., even though you don't have the specific ACS for that appliance. So it's just a common question we get from engineers, especially if they're quite new to the industry, they've only got CCM1 and boilers, you know, that they may come across this situation. So we thought we'd just share that one.
It could even be a customer's request. Customers asking an engineer to disconnect a cooker or a fire, and again, you don't have to have that appliance qualification, as it's covered under your pipe work.
Yeah, no, that's good. And we were talking earlier, Stevie, about we seem to get a lot of frequently asked questions about landlords, in particular landlord checks, and we were both saying that we get a lot of usually technical emails asking if we can check if a landlord's gas safety record is valid, and we were both discussing that if there are 9 legal requirements that an LGSR has to have on it, and those 9 legal requirements can be found in Technical Bulletin 055. So yeah, if you do have that question, you think, am I filling this certificate incorrect? Is the template I'm using correct? It's well worth having a look at Technical Bulletin 055 just to check those 9 legal requirements that are supposed to be on that record.
Yeah. And another one of the big ones we get is we get lots of queries regarding the serial number, the license number on your ID card being incorrect or expired. So if you're using the app, when you update the app with your details, every year you'll get a new Gas Safe Register ID card. Update your new license number on the app, and that way landlords and letting agents and tenants are less likely to question the validity of the landlord safety report due to an old license number.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, because I think, like you say, it's just making sure that they feel, especially if you're using a manual one, making sure it's legible. I mean, I've got the worst handwriting in the world, but make sure people can read what it says. They can read your number, they can read your name, the appliance details, everything on there. And like Stevie said, if you are using electronic software or an app, make sure it's up to date. It's got your correct license number, etc. on it. So yeah, that's we do get a lot of questions about that. Yeah. Like I say, Technical Bulletin 055 has a lot of good information in it. It's been out, that Technical Bulletin has been released for quite a while, and we have recently just refreshed a article to go into the magazine. That should be coming out soon as well. So just to give people a bit of guidance, a bit of information. Right, so the reason Stevie is our guest on this episode today is because Stevie is retiring from the gas industry. He's not just leaving Gas Safe Register, he's retiring completely. So we thought we'd invite Stevie on today just to give us a bit of insight of, how he's found being a gas engineer. So how many years have you been a gas engineer, Stevie?
42 years, just over 42 years, yeah. Wow. Started back in 1983 as an apprentice with British Gas. Yep. So a long time ago.
Wow, 42 years. I'm only 45. Wow, that's amazing.
When you were 3 years old?
Yeah. So, Stevie, we're going to do a quick interview with yourself to get your thoughts on your history as a gas engineer over the last 42 years. So, like you say, you joined as an apprentice with British Gas back in 1983, did you say?
Yeah, 1983, did a 3-year apprenticeship. So became an engineer in 1986. Yeah. So it's been a very, very enjoyable 42 years. For the first 5 or 6 years, just worked away as an engineer with British Gas, and then progressed on to technician, and then seen all the changes in British Gas. Stayed with British Gas all the way through. Did various roles, safety assurance engineer, lead engineer. I've had so many different titles over the years. Eventually became a service manager 2010, and did that until about 2019. So I left British Gas after 36 years in 2019, and became a centre manager in a training centre. Did that for about a year and a half, and then this position came up within Gas Safe Register. So I was lucky enough to get this job. So been here just short of 5 years, and still learning every day. You would think after 40 odd years I should know it all, but we don't.
No.
So if we've got something we're not sure about, we discuss it within the team, and someone somewhere will have the answer or find the answer or know the answer. So we still discuss things every day after 40 years. So looking forward to finishing up at the end of the year.
Yeah, I bet you are. I mean, for those, many people that are watching this may recognise Stevie's voice. He's probably helped thousands of engineers that have called in. I know Stevie showed me the ropes when I first joined Gas Safe Register as well. So yeah, it's a shame you're going. We're going to be losing a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge. But what looking back over your career, what do you think was the best part of being a gas engineer? What was the most enjoyable for you?
I think the best thing about being a gas engineer is it's the multiple skills that we pick up. We don't just deal with gas appliances. We deal with electrics. We deal with plumbing. We lift floorboards. We deal with so many different parts of working in a house. And that skill set it's transferable. As we were talking before we came on here, you end up doing so many jobs in your own house that you would normally have to pay another tradesman to do, but we're able to do so many things ourselves. And I think even the communication side of things, when you're dealing with customers and you're having to get specific information from a customer, you learn how to ask the right questions. If you don't ask the right questions, you won't get the right answer. You won't get the information you need. So it's all about honing your skills, whatever task you happen to do, and just constantly trying to improve your skill set.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I remember as an apprentice, learning skills, like you said, lifting floorboards, running pipe work for plumbing, etc. And then I remember getting my first flat and replacing the bathroom. And like you said, that was with skills that I'd learned as an apprentice, sort of coming up through the ranks. So yeah, that is a good point. So
I think even now there's a lot of gas engineers who are transferring those skills. They're now doing kitchens and bathrooms, and so they're not just sticking to central heating. They're using those skills in other areas to earn a living. Yeah,
no, it's totally agree. So obviously over 42 years, you massive changes. Obviously, appliance wise, technology wise, the tools people use, like even things like analyzers. I remember when I first started, analyzers were quite a new thing. They'd only just come into the industry. So what do you think? What's been the biggest changes that you've seen in the industry over the years?
Well, as you say, flue gas analyzers really changed. I mean, before flue gas analyzers, we strip cleaned everything.
Yeah.
And then you would get the complaints that it was working fine till it was serviced 2 or 3 days ago, and now something's not working. So there was times where you maybe disturbed things. So I suppose bringing in a flue gas analyzer, it meant less disturbance for servicing appliances, and possibly only doing full strip downs when the appliance really needed it.
Yeah.
Appliances themselves have changed incredibly. When we think back 20, 30 years ago, we changed thermocouples and synchron motors was a common job, but now when you look at boilers, we're changing sensors and fans and gas valves and printed circuit boards. So a lot of technology really has changed the industry. And then when you think as well, we use technology to help us. So we've got computers, we've got tablets, we've got fault finding, we've got so many apps that allow us to share that information. And if you're stuck on an appliance, There's so many tools there that help us to actually fault find and repair appliances as well.
Yeah, it's funny you say about sort of like apps for pipe sizing, gas rating, stuff like that. I remember at British Gas when they had the little slidey ventilation cards, and I thought that was great. I thought that was the best thing ever when I when I was an engineer. And like you say, it's printed circuit boards on boilers. You didn't have that, did you?
No,
You had
nothing.
You had a dirty pilot, a thermocouple that could have been burnt out. It's amazing. I mean, I've been in the industry half as long as you, and even I've seen massive changes. So it must be, when you think back, for someone that's been in the industry as long as you, it must be just mind blowing. The difference, from then to now. So obviously with new engineers coming into the industry, and you running a training centre before you came here, what sort of advice did you used to give to newly qualified engineers, or what advice would you give now today to a newly qualified engineer?
I think the secret is it's never stop learning. I think when trainees come out, if past their acts, they think, right, I can throw the books away and pick them up again in 5 years' time. But I think it's best to keep learning, keep reading the books, the more you do, the more it makes sense. And when you get the experience, going back and looking at the basics, it helps to reinforce your learnings.
No, I agree. It does. I think, like you say, keeping yourself up to date, always learning. Like we said earlier, there's people in the team that, I suppose, our combined experience within the team is probably something ridiculous, like 200 and something, 300 and something years. But even we get asked questions that we have to discuss amongst the team and come up with the answer and go through the standards. So no, I think that's a good point. Never stop learning.
And I think as well, all newly qualified engineers should probably be made aware of the Gas Safe Register technical helpline. We understand what it was like. We still remember what it was like to be newly qualified and just be faced with so many different issues that you weren't sure how to deal with. So the guys in the technical helpline take a lot of satisfaction out of helping newly qualified engineers. There's no such thing as a daft question. So if anyone out there, if they're not sure, if they're worried about phoning up and looking silly, we remember what it was like being in that situation. So there's no such thing as a daft question. Give us a call. Even if it's something like how to classify an unsafe situation, we won't be able to give you a definitive answer, but we can tell you how to work on your risk assessment, engineering judgment, and how to find the right answer and how to come up with the correct classification. The more you do it, the easier it gets. So never be afraid to give the technical helpline a call. We're always there to help.
I think that's good, because like you say, we can't classify for people because we're not there on site. But I think sometimes it's just like ringing a friend. You discuss it over in your head, and sometimes just by talking about a problem, how do I classify it? Is that at risk? Is that not? Am I going a bit overboard here? Sometimes it's good just having a chat about it, and like you say, they can come to the decision because you can help them sort of make that risk assessment. So that's a good point.
Because I think as well, we've got some experienced engineers out there that call us in regular, and there's times where you recognise the voice before they've even given you the registration number, and it doesn't go against them. It's almost like well done for for being brave enough to constantly call in and ask questions. So we always say there's no such thing as a daft question.
Yeah, no, totally agree. So the most important question, Stevie, what are you going to do with all your free time when you retire?
Probably more holidays.
More holidays.
Definitely, yeah. So finish up at the end of December. So starting the new year afresh. So probably, hopefully, get a wee holiday booked in somewhere, and then just enjoy the free time.
Yeah, don't blame you. I feel a bit jealous, Stevie. I'm not going to lie. I've still got 20 years to go. But never mind. But Stevie, like I said earlier, you're going to be a big loss to us at the technical team. I know there's probably engineers out there watching this that say, I remember Stevie from British Gas, or I remember him from the training centre. So, I think you're going to be a big loss to the industry. But, thanks for all the work that you've put in for us at the technical team and the work you've done over the years. So it is appreciated.
Thanks, Rob.
So just to wrap up episode 9, thank you everyone for listening as always. If anyone has any feedback on what they want us to discuss in any upcoming episodes, do just give us an email at technical@gassaferegister.co.uk or give us a call. You can do it over the phone. It's not a problem. If you have any technical inquiries, obviously give us a call. Like Stevie said, there's no such thing as a daft question, or send us an email at the technical email, which is technical@gassaferegister.co.uk. Keep an eye out. There are some big changes that are imminent with regards to IGM UP1B, domestic tightness testing. So me and Stevie were talking about this earlier, and we both agreed that this is probably going to be one of the biggest changes within the industry for a very long time. We are looking to push a lot of communication through various channels, magazine articles, updates, etc. So do keep an eye out for any communication, not from us, just from us, from other industry bodies as well. So early next year, just keep an eye out. It's something we'll all sort of learn together really and get used to going forward. Just wishing everybody, all gas engineers out there and their families, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully we'll see you all in 2026. So that's goodbye and a Merry Christmas from me.
Yep. Goodbye, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all.
No problem. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Stevie.
Thank you. Thanks. Cheers, Rob.